This bell curve maps traits like speed and strength. Elite success depends on hitting this tiny right tail distribution. The system is exclusionary. Focusing strictly on these metrics, we drop the bottom 90% of the population entirely, signaling they have no path to the top. Daniel loved soccer, but every data point suggested he didn't belong on a pitch. He didn't have the speed, he didn't have the height, and he sat at the far left of this distribution. His peers made sure he knew it. The daily mockery he faced wasn't just mean, it was a constant reinforcement of the statistical reality that he was simply too slow to ever become a star. This creates a massive psychological barrier. When your physical reality and the people around you agree that failure is a mathematical certainty, how do you find the motivation to keep showing up? To survive that level of deficit, a person needs a source of validation that doesn't depend on the scoreboard or the opinion of the crowd. Instead of fighting back or giving up, Daniel took his frustration home and knelt beside his bed. He began to practice a specific internal shift. He stopped praying for fame or status. He let go of the need to prove his classmates wrong. He redirected his focus to a different goal, using his effort to honor God rather than himself. He was no longer playing for kids in the stands, but for an audience of one. This change in perspective moved the target. When his peers mocked his lack of talent, they were attacking a version of Daniel he had already set aside. By anchoring his worth in his faith, the insults lost their power to disrupt his focus. This spiritual anchoring provides the emotional resilience to stay in the game. But belief alone doesn't kick a ball. It requires a second engine to create physical change. Daniel backed his faith with a grueling twice-a-day practice routine. He was out there before the sun came up and long after it went down, repeating the same kicks until they became automatic. This is the dual-engine model at work. Faith provides the psychological endurance to ignore the critics, while relentless repetition builds the mechanical skills needed to perform when it counts. The turning point came when the school's star player, the one with the natural speed and the high-end genetics, was injured right before the championship game. The coach put Daniel in. As he stepped onto the field, the whispers started again. The crowd looked at his physical stats and expected an immediate collapse. In the final minute, with the score tied 1-1, the ball found its way to Daniel. He said a quiet prayer, not for a miracle, but for presence. He leaned into his belief engine for calm, and then let his action engine take over, relying on the muscle memory he built in the dark. He put everything he had into the kick. The ball flew past the keeper and into the net. That goal was the result of invisible labor and sustained faith meeting a sudden physical opportunity. In the minutes after the game, the long-held assumption that natural talent is the only thing that wins hit a sudden and confusing wall. A reporter asked Daniel how he did it, looking for a traditional answer about luck or a sudden burst of speed. Daniel didn't claim to be the best player. He simply said he won because he never stopped believing that God had a plan for his life. This intersection shows the logic of his success. Spiritual conviction provides the stamina to keep going when the world says no, while relentless action provides the physical tools to say yes when the moment arrives. It shows us that faith isn't about waiting for a result. It's an active requirement to do the grueling work necessary to meet a higher purpose halfway. You don't need to win the genetic lottery to reach an impossible goal. You just need to put God first, anchor your self-worth in that faith, and keep moving forward.